the Tottenham Hotspur deal with SA Tourism. The Minister of Tourism, Patricia de Lille, earlier telling the country she's advising the SA Tourism Board to stop this deal. She's given them until next week, Wednesday, to do so. Well, I'm joined now by the chairman of Brand Africa, founder and chairman of Brand Africa, Thebe Ikalafeng. Is also the former SA Tourism Deputy Chair. Thebe, good afternoon. Welcome to today. Thank you very much for your patience. Looks like we've sorted our small technical issues. So your reaction to what the minister has said? Basically, she's saying, stop this deal.
I think that's one thing you can expect from Minister Patricia de Lille. One is that she's a very dutiful and a very thorough minister. And she would obviously have taken the time to try and understand the issues. But because being in government and being a person of the people, she probably also would have looked at it and to contextualize it in the bigger South African challenges. So I think she's made the right decision. It is the right decision at this time.
It's a right decision at this time. I mean, it caused a lot of challenges. What, in your view, is particularly wrong with this? What's particularly wrong with the sponsorship deal?
Well, I think let's look at it from where South Africa is right now, from a context perspective. I think contextually, it is an irrational decision. Because if you look at the state of the nation brand South Africa, the state of the infrastructure, the state of crime, the state of all the issues that are affecting us right now as a country, the last thing we want is to have visitors to come here and be affected by the issues, which will then exacerbate or even exaggerate their perceptions of South Africa as an ideal place to visit. But having said all that, on the second part, to me, what is wrong with this particular deal is just the brand associations, that we're trying to associate ourselves with a brand which is not necessarily the aspirations of where South Africa, how South Africa wants to see themselves. It's not Manchester, it's not Arsenal, it's not Real Madrid. But having said all that as well, is the third part that's wrong about this deal, is that the first it's a 3-year deal. The first year of the deal, 300 million rand was going to be spent on a logo that's been put in a training kit. Nobody's going to see it. So it means we are going to misspend 300,000 rand of 300 million rand of the country's resources when nobody's ever going to see it. And fourth and most, to me, what's important is that it's a tone-deaf decision at this hour in South Africa. Very tone-deaf. People are poor. People are jobless. South Africa needs all the help it can rather than to spend the money in a country like the UK, where already 53% of the visitors say they will visit South Africa again. So the UK is one of the biggest source markets of South Africa. It's already successful, South Africa, as a source market to bring tourists here. So we don't need to go fish where the fish are already, because the fish is already swimming this way.
So the deal, as you agree with the minister saying that is not in the best interest of all South Africans for the various reasons that you've mentioned. The amount of R1 billion, I mean, sort of stood out at the time. Do you think if the amount was less, we could have had different reaction, or you would still oppose the deal?
Well, as a marketer, I would have opposed the deal. I would have proposed the deal because it is not an innovative idea. Rwanda has done it, and Rwanda has done it for the right reasons, for that market, and has done it much more cost effectively at $25 million over 3 years or so. But then Rwanda is a small country of 50 million people. They needed to reposition the country as a country that has got a tourism value proposition. We're already well known. We're a well-known proposition in the UK and everywhere else. We don't need the amount of awareness. If the deal was a free deal, if it was free like Malawi is with Leganes, so Leganes in Spain, it's a free deal. I don't know what they're getting out of it, Leganes, but certainly what Malawi is getting, they're getting free awareness. And Malawi needs awareness as a tourism country more than we do. So everything is wrong about this deal. It's wrong because one, I don't know what question it's. I don't know what problem it's solving, because we don't have an awareness problem. Okay. Secondly, the problem that we need a conversion. We need to rebuild our tourism, our proposition, our tourism, our business. But to do that, we need to fix the product called South Africa the tourist destination. That's what we need to fix. Close the potholes, fix the security, make South Africans welcome people from other parts of the world, and then you'll see they'll come flooding here again, as they've always done, because we've got a great country, the great tourism product.
Yeah, Thebe, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I mean, if you had this R1 billion and you are advising SA Tourism, from what you've just said, you've said fix the brand itself, South Africa Inc., and then, you know, you could spend your money wisely. Where do you think they should now focus their efforts on? Because this Tottenham Hotspur deal is gone, is a goner. Where do you think, if you're advising them, where should they be focusing on as SA Tourism?
First, South African tourism does not have $1 billion to spare on a deal of this nature. Because remember, as the minister said, what invalidates the deal is they would have had to go to Treasury, and they would have had to go to the Ministry of Tourism to bring an exception for South African tourism to be able to spend the money. So in that space, they don't have the money. But if I had $1 billion and I'm in the South African tourism space, I would ask myself the question: what will enhance? What will make it attractive for tourists to come to South Africa? We know the story already. Tourists have said they come to South Africa, we're going to rob them, we're going to rape them. Their cars are going to be damaged with potholes. There's going to be no lights because of load shedding. So if I had $1 billion, I would say, how do I contribute? How do I redivert the money back to the fiscus, and particularly to an area which will enhance and protect the South, or enhance the South African tourism product for the and some of them I've highlighted as an example. Get tourism police like they've got in Uganda. You know, I was in Uganda when I went to look at to climb the mountains to look at the gorillas, and there were police. The police were dedicated to tourism. And I asked the policeman, I said, why do you guys need tourism police? They say tourism is one of our biggest contributors to the GDP of Uganda. We are not going to allow any criminal to come and damage our product. So you see, that's how you now put the money in the right place. And now, if you know that there's issues, for example, if you go to the Krugers and all those properties that we have in South Africa, particularly the ones which are owned by government, you'll then get to see that many of them are not in a good state. So you take the money, you fix those. You take the money, you fix the potholes. So when tourists come to South Africa, they say, I had a wonderful time in South Africa. Fix the product and the tourists will come.
Thank you very much for your time and insights this afternoon. That's Brand Africa founder and chairman Thebe Ikalafeng, also a former member of the SA Tourism Board, just weighing in on the latest developments there. And that's about the Tottenham Hotspur deal. The Minister of Tourism, Patricia de Lille, saying that it's a goner. It must be stopped.